Uh, you make a couple really good points here. Uh, Pessimism, the drive to negativity, to be dark and brooding, is as much a human passion as is optimism. Optimism is easy to see as attractive, but with a more honest look at the human psyche, one can clearly see its dark attractions as well. And the reality of an attraction and passion driving humans to pessimism is only overlooked through a lack of self-awareness. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, I came to that realization through the process of writing this, but I think it's fairly evident. And it's just that there's a common conception that optimism is self-fulfilling. It's just you just want to believe it, and then it makes you feel good, so you keep believing it. And there's potential reality in that. Jordan Peterson talks a lot about naive optimism, which is certainly a thing that we can observe. Uh, but he also criticizes a pessimistic view and talks about maybe a mature optimism. But just this point is that the criticism of the motivation of like, oh, optimism just comes from people wanting to believe stuff. That is, that may be true about optimism, but it's exactly equally true of pessimism. It's not a case where the pessimists are clearly more honest and truthful because they're willing to believe the negative things and look into them, and the optimists are just want cheery, feel good stuff. There's again, as I said there, the nature of our psyche is not that we only get attraction and to some degree pleasure out of nice fluffy things. There's plenty of evidence and just reality to the fact that we have dark attractions. And the idea that the people who are looking at themselves as especially stalwart and heroically stoic and champions of truth, even against what feels good to them. The idea that that's not giving you a reward and motivational kick is just nonsense. So, in general, the process of criticizing someone for their motivations is uh, not a good criticism. It's only applicable if there's a conflict of interest with your motivations. Um, and in cases where it might drive you to lie, and you could say, okay, well, it could drive the optimist to lie, but okay, it can drive the pessimists to lie too. Or at least, and equally as they would say, the optimists would be blind to things, the pessimists are going to be blind to things too. So this is just a total false dilemma here. Well, maybe not false dilemma because it's painted as the good choice of pessimism because it's realist, and the immature, self-pleasing choice of positivity, yeah, optimism. But that's just not how it works at all. They both have their attractions. There are types of people who will be attracted to either one, and they may or may not have good arguments. They may or may not have looked it through. They may or may not be naive, but you have to look at the explanations, the arguments, and the things that they have, um, the ways that they have come to and verified their points of view, and see what they have to say about contradicting evidence. Even Benatar says that in his book. He talks about, we can't just believe optimism because it's optimistic, and we can't just believe pessimism because it's pessimistic. So, uh, but I think it is a very common appeal that is unfair because it's just not true. And I think the main reason I think I included in there is because there's just a, uh, a kind of funny irony in it, in that the the reality is actually revealed in that formulation of the point of view. Like the person who would say, "Oh, that's just optimist. That's just what you want to believe. That's just nice for you." The implication there is that they're doing the hard work, and so they're clearly giving themselves an accolade for it. And so it's like you've demonstrated that you are getting you have an attraction to this point of view while you're denigrating the other side for just being what the person wants to believe. So it is just totally self-defeating. And I thought it was funny in that.
Yeah.